In this video, we will look at authoring and presenting AccessForAll content in ATutor, then demonstrate how to export that content to the AContent repository. Then we'll search for that content and import it into a course, and finally look at setting up AccessForAll preference profiles. Here we have some typical content, some headings, some text, an image, a video. We can edit this content and add adaptations to it. Clicking on the Adapted Content tab, you can see on the left the original resources that have been detected in this content. You can set the resource type for each resource, and you can add alternatives to them. So first, for the video, we will set its resource type as auditory and visual, for the image as visual. Then we will add the adaptations, choosing a transcript, an MP3 audio, and a sign language video, and finally a long description for the image. If we view the content, you can see at the top right corner there's the AccessForAll toolbar. If we click on text and view the content, you can see the long description for the image, and you can see the transcript for the video. If we click on the audio icon and scroll down, you can see the audio bar has been inserted. And if we click on the sign language icon, you'll see that the sign language video has been appended to the content.
Yogurt is blue. Apples, especially the sour.
So now that we have our content assembled, we can export that content. Clicking on the Import Export tab, we choose the content that we want to export. Choose the format to export it as, in Common Cartridge in this case. Export it to the AContent repository and include the AccessForAll adapted content. AContent returns a message. Clicking the link allows you to preview the content in AContent. Clicking on the AccessForAll toolbar, we can see that the adaptations are available in AContent as well. So now we can potentially modify that content, clicking on the edit icon and opening up the Adapted Content tab in AContent. You can see the original alternatives, and we can potentially add more if we have them. Returning to ATutor, we will import that content, go to a different course, search for the content, entering a keyword. Here, clicking on the link allows you to preview the content, or you can export it as a content package or import it as a common cartridge. So we click import, and in a moment the content gets inserted, and there you have your content and its alternatives. Now we can look at how AccessForAll preference settings are set up in ATutor. There are a variety of different settings. First, we'll look at making the screen easier to read. We have various font and size and color settings. We can set the foreground to white and the background to black, for instance, to create a high contrast view. We can now look at how to set up navigation elements. You can insert a table of contents at the top of a content page, insert next previous navigation links for moving through in sequence, and insert breadcrumbs. So we will insert those and refresh the screen. Up in the top left you can see the breadcrumbs, over to the right you can see the sequence links, and at the top of the content area you can see the table of contents. Next, we could look at setting up alternatives for content, so we can choose all three types. If we look at text, you can see that there are audio, visual, and sign language alternatives available for text. You can either have it appended to or replace the original content, and if alternative languages are available, you can set those as well. Looking at audio, very similar. In this case, you've got text, visual, and sign language available as alternatives. Looking at visual, we will turn this on. We can set the preferred alternative to text and have it replace the original content. Save that, and if we reload the page, you'll see all the visual elements have been replaced by text.